Hello and welcome back to my series on how to write a book. I'm Nico Bell. I am a horror and sci-fi author. So we have already talked about brainstorming and premise, and today we're going to do character development. Now when I write a book, this is where I start to do my character development before I actually outline the plot, because a lot of the things we're going to discuss about how to make a good character, I use to make plot points. So let's get into it. My dog is destroying a toy in the background, so hopefully you don't hear that too much. When I do a character, I don't get too hung up on like the character's names or what they look like or what they wear, anything like that. When I start developing the protagonist and the antagonist and the villains, I really focus on who they are as individuals. And one of the things I really try to decide is what is their essence? Who are they at their core? Are they a logical thinker? Are they a problem solver? Are they somebody who runs when things get too scary? So that's something that I always start with. Who are they essentially at their core? And from there, I do their background. So I work with what is the most defining bad moment in their childhood, or what was that moment in their past that was negative and defined who they are as an adult. It could be something like their parents getting divorced. It could be witnessing something terrible. It could be anything that creates in them a sense of insecurity. And from there, we develop a character's lie. This is what the character has believed to be true within themselves, that by the end of the book, they will realize really is a lie. So for example, if a character had a family who got divorced and then maybe one of the parents left them, they may believe the lie that they're unlovable. And that shapes who they are throughout the whole novel, and eventually that lie will get challenged and they'll realize the truth, which is they are lovable and it had nothing to do with them. Now, that's sort of where we're beginning, okay? So I gave you a lot in a short amount of time. But, real quick recap. Who are they at their core, right? And then, what is their big negative thing that happened to them when they were a kid or when they were younger? And then, what lie did they develop from that? Okay? So that's the first three. Now we're moving a bit forward. And we're going to learn about what makes them happy. What was their happiest moment when they were younger? And how does that relate to the thing that they want most of all? So maybe if we go back to the character whose parents were divorced and one left, maybe the happiest moment was when they were all together and they had like a big family picnic. And all this character wants is to one day have a big family picnic again, to have everybody happy and to feel loved. So that is what we use as their sort of inner dream and goal that we can use later in the book. We also start to develop their value system. Now their values are going to come from the things that they are afraid of. My dog is now eating something he should not be eating. So the things that our characters fear. What does your character fear? Internally, maybe they fear abandonment. Externally, maybe they fear that they're going to lose their job, or they're afraid for their country if, maybe your character's in the military. The internal and external fears help us determine what our character's values are. Maybe the character who lost that family connection really values loyalty. Maybe they've grown up a little bit bitter and resentful and they value independence. What we're going to do with that character's values is pit them against each other. So if you have a character who values independence and values family, they're probably going to have to choose between the two at some point. So those are the values. And then we move on to the big, terrible moment, sort of the black moment of the soul, the inner moment where they have to face down the lie and they're pitted against their values. And then we have to figure out how they're going to proceed. They're going to have to make a choice. Did they go back to their old way of thinking, or did they progress and have that character arc moment which hopefully, whatever you decide to do will increase the stakes of the novel. And then we really work on some sort of epiphany or resolution with the character. And that plays in, obviously, with the end of the story and how that all pans out for you. But those are kind of like the core essentials that you're going to need when you develop a character. From there is when I really start to look at, okay, what's this character named? How would they dress? What are their mannerisms? But that type of stuff, for me, always comes at the end. So that is character development in a nutshell. It's a very, very quick lesson, but I hope it's helpful. Happy writing.